Somalia's pirates, villains, heroes, or a product of injustice. Somali pirates are often described as ruthless criminals who terrorized international shipping routes. To the outside world, they are seen purely as villains. But inside Somalia, especially in coastal regions, many people once viewed them very differently, as protectors, even heroes, similar to a local version of Robin Hood. Piracy isn't just about demanding ransom. The most dangerous part is reaching a massive ship at sea, throwing a rope ladder, securing it, and climbing on board, a risky move that frequently fails. At the same time, Somalia was being exploited on land and at sea. Local clan militias were armed in exchange for allowing foreign companies to dump waste in Somali territory and waters. This arrangement became known as guns for waste. While some regimes divide people through religion or ethnicity, Somali dictators relied on clan divisions to weaken and control the population. As food shortages and unemployment spread across the country, piracy became, for many young boys, the only way to survive and provide for their families. The hijacking of Maersk Alabama, 2009. Hello, friends. On April 8, 2009, an American-flagged cargo ship was traveling through the Indian Ocean. The ship Maersk Alabama was sailing from Oman to Kenya, carrying humanitarian aid. When it was about 440 kilometers off the Somali coast, unexpected lights appeared on the ship's radar. The crew scanned the area and spotted a small boat moving directly toward them. Their immediate thought was, "Not again." Within the previous 24 hours, similar boats had approached twice, and the crew had narrowly avoided trouble. This time, however, things escalated quickly. As the boat drew closer, a message came through the ship's radio. Typically, ships try to escape pirates by increasing speed, but large cargo vessels can only reach 18 to 20 knots, while pirate speedboats can easily exceed 25 knots. Recognizing the threat, Captain Richard Phillips sounded the alarm. Crew members rushed toward the ship's safe room. Their defensive options were limited, mainly water hoses to make boarding difficult, but these rarely stopped determined attackers. Moments later, they heard the sound they feared most, a ladder locking onto the hull. The first pirate climbed aboard, firing an AK-47 as he moved toward the bridge. Out of the ship's 19 crew members, 14 reached the safe room, 2 hid elsewhere. Captain Phillips and 2 crew members remained on the bridge, the ship's command center. To disrupt the attack, the helmsman sharply maneuvered the ship, causing the pirates' speedboat to flip over. Despite this, 4 pirates managed to board the vessel. Their leader was an 18-year-old named Abdiwali Abdikadir Musi. The pirates surrounded Captain Phillips and aimed their weapons at him. Made it clear they didn't want to kill anyone, they wanted money. Phillips shut down the engines. When asked about the remaining crew member Zahid Reza said they would only come out if they felt safe. If they felt safe, Musi agreed to go see them, but only after leaving his gun behind. As they passed the engine room, Chief Engineer Mike Perry suddenly attacked Musi, stabbing him in the hand and locking him inside the safe room. The pirates' leader was now a prisoner. Panicking, the remaining pirates negotiated a deal. They would leave the ship, take the cash on board, and kidnap Captain Phillips as leverage. Since their speedboat had sunk, they used a lifeboat instead. Once the engines were restarted and the lifeboat lowered, Musi was handed back. But the pirates betrayed the agreement, seized Captain Phillips, and fled into the open sea. Global attention and the rise of Somali piracy. This dramatic incident was later portrayed in the 2013 film Captain Phillips. For years, hijackings had taken place with little international attention, but this was the first American ship to be hijacked, and it changed everything. Suddenly, the world began asking, who were the Somali pirates? Why had piracy taken root in Somalia, and how was it eventually brought under control? Somalia's collapse and the origins of piracy. Somalia occupies a critical geopolitical location bordered by the Indian Ocean to the east and the Gulf of Aden to the north. Nearly 20% of global trade passes through these waters. After gaining independence in 1960, Somalia soon fell under dictatorship. Clan-based discrimination fueled unrest, eventually erupting into a brutal civil war. In 1991, the central government collapsed completely. Within a single year, more than 350,000 people died due to war, famine, and disease. It was out of this chaos that piracy emerged. Illegal fishing and toxic dumping. Somalia's coastline is one of the richest fishing areas in the world. But after the collapse of the Coast Guard, foreign fishing fleets began exploiting Somali waters illegally. According to the United Nations, around $300 million worth of seafood was stolen each year. Industrial drag nets destroyed coral reefs. Local fishermen were threatened or attacked. At the same time, foreign companies began dumping toxic and nuclear waste, including uranium, mercury, lead, and other hazardous byproducts. Proper disposal in Europe cost $250 per ton. Dumping the same waste illegally in Somalia cost just $2.50 per ton. Local warlords were paid in weapons, continuing the guns for waste trade. When the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami struck, toxic containers broke open, contaminating water supplies. Communities reported cancers, respiratory illnesses, and severe skin conditions. From fishermen to pirates, with no fish, no income, and no one to protect them, Somali fishermen started patrolling their waters themselves. They called themselves coast guards. At first, their goal was simply to chase away illegal fishing vessels. But as ransom payments proved profitable, piracy evolved into an organized industry. Boys as young as 16 were recruited. By 2008, piracy had become Somalia's most profitable business, generating over $50 million a year. How piracy operated? Pirates approached ships, waving their weapons. If the ship didn't stop, warning shots followed. They used rope ladders to board. Hijackings usually took less than 30 minutes, and only 20 to 30% of attempts succeeded. Ransom money was dropped by parachute and divided. 50% to the attackers, 33% to investors, the rest to guards and negotiators. Some money was distributed locally, reinforcing the pirates' Robin Hood image. They called themselves Badr Badr, saviors of the sea, the fall of Somali piracy. In 2009, international naval missions were launched: US Task Force 151, NATO, the European Union, India, China, and Russia. The decisive shift came when cargo ships began hiring armed security teams. No ship protected by armed guards has ever been successfully hijacked. By 2013, Somali piracy had largely collapsed. A brief resurgence. After 2017, hijackings became extremely rare, but regional conflicts, including the Hamas-Israel war in 2023, diverted naval patrols. Piracy briefly resurfaced. In December 2023, the MV Rowan was hijacked. In March 2024, the hostages were rescued by the Indian Navy. Bangladeshi and Chinese ships were also targeted. Final thought. For many Somalis, piracy is still viewed as a response to exploitation, but injustice on one side cannot excuse injustice on another. Resisting injustice is a human instinct, but when that resistance becomes a new form of harm, it loses its purpose. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please subscribe to the channel. Your support helps me create more in-depth videos like this.